I wanted to share an email exchange with friends. I got this a couple of days ago from Thomas, who is a friend on YouTube. And he wrote and said, "Please, could you help me? I'm so sorry to ask again, but since I lost Merlin, I've now lost 2 more of my cats. I'm heartbroken. Willow was old, about 24, but she was such a difficult loss to deal with. I had known her my entire life, and now, today, Saffron. She was so happy, and as cuddly as any cat I've ever had. She was hit by a car. But the car that hit her didn't stop, and carried on. Along with that, she was found miles out of where she usually roams, so it seems as if the driver took her away in order to stop people finding her. I'm absolutely torn. I was the one who let her outside, and I can't help but blame myself. Please, please, could you help me? I'm so sorry for bothering you with this, but I need some support, and you helped me so much last time. Thomas." And this is my response to Thomas. "Oh, Thomas, I'm so very, very sorry. I know how you feel losing one after another. And when it's an accident, it's so very difficult. Although when it's old age, after a lifetime with you, it's just as hard. No death is easy to deal with. And sometimes, when we let a bit of time go by, we realize that some of their souls keep in touch with us more than we thought they would. Micmac's death devastated me, as I'd not lost a cat in 10 years. And that kitty, although loved, was only with me 8 months, a stray from the SPCA Chauncey Hemlock that I lost 10 years ago. I remember needing to cry, but I couldn't. When Micmac died, friends came over from Ontario. Bad timing, I'd completely forgotten. They dug a grave and helped plant the tree and bury Micmac, and forced me to go to a restaurant, the only restaurant I've been to in 11 years of living here. One day, after a few weeks, I had to scream. And I did that while kneeling at my bed like a little girl praying. I'm not dogmatic or religious, although I do have enormous spiritual belief. And I started screaming into my bed comforters to block the sound, until I was hoarse and shaking and crying with so many tears. After that, my beloved Micmac rested in peace of my soul. Of course, 2 weeks after that, Dar died suddenly. To this day, I sing to this serious, gentle boy, who had so many inbreeding health problems, terrible skin, splayed toes, born with arthritis, not able to walk much, even as a puppy. But he loved me, and I adored him. Although it took about a year before I really fell in love, because he didn't like affection, didn't know what that really was. But one day Micmac, as a kitten, came to me crying at the door, saying, "Come outside." I went outside, and baby Dar was stuck in a rose bush, all the thorns on his fur, and he couldn't move. I got scissors, cut him out, and he looked at me and said, "So this is what a mommy does." After that, we fell in love. Micmac's best friend, Asalee, was the one who had the hardest time leaving me, and he still is here in spirit somehow. I hear him sometimes. I think of him whenever I see something white somewhere in the house. He loved me as much as he loved Micmac, and he knew it would hurt me terribly when he left. And he was so reluctant to leave that it ended up hurting him so very much. Finally, instead of sleeping with him that night, I put him on the floor. I was so very tired. In the middle of the night, he went to Micmac. Thomas, I will never understand why cats and dogs live such short lives. They are perfect creatures, and we love them so much. Why do turtles live to 200 years, and parrots to 100? I don't understand, and if I believed in the traditional sense of a Christian God, I'd say that it was pretty cruel. But my beliefs are quite different. I know that we are all energy, that everything in this universe is energy. We see in the dimension of solidity. We see a table. We can touch it. But if we burn that table, it does not go away. It is transmutated into a different form, a different dimension. We are limited by our 5 senses of our understanding of 3 dimensions. I cry that my animals got old and died and don't have their presence in my life anymore. But if they are energy, they are in my existence, but at a different level than I'm capable of experiencing right now. Some people talk about hearing or seeing their animals. I don't know if that's true, but I know that they are here, close to the ones who love them, because it is love that causes this universe to exist. This I know with absolute certainty. It is never more clear than the relationships between animals and animals and humans. I've learned more about God from my animals than I have from any religion. They are pure, without guile. Remember that we will one day revert or transform into this type of energy, and we will be side by side with the energy of our animals, combined in the same way chemicals can combine to form a new substance. Isn't that what we always wanted as humans, to bond so much with our animals that we became one? And we did a pretty good job, and they loved it too. So now they wait for us. But in the meantime, if we think we can, we will be able to occasionally feel them in our soul, our heart, our existence. Their existence is like that little tap of your saffron on your arm that just wants you to look over at her, not wanting anything else. She just wants to look into your eyes and have you look into hers. She's still doing this, as is Merlin and dear Willow. It's very subtle, and it's not hokey pokey. It's science that civilized man hasn't yet understood, but it's not the weird spiritistic stuff of mediums. It's very personal, and no one can help you with this but you and your subconscious. If you go to bed wanting to see your animals, saying you will be partially awake while you dream, you will have what is called lucid dreaming. You can find books on this in the library. You can be with your animals, know you're with them, and their energy will heal you. Please know that if you think of emotional things, i.e., for instance, why they died, how they died, etc., it is you who was doing that in your head. It's not them. They are energy now, just pure energy, pure love. So please, Thomas, do not imagine you know why Saffron was so far away. Do not imagine a scenario. You do not know her habits or her inclinations or what she was doing that day. I don't know of anyone who would pick up a dead animal and take it elsewhere. We have a revulsion and fear of dead animals as humans, sometimes even our own. Not me, but many people do. I hope you can open your brain and heart and psyche to listen to what Saffron wants you to know. I can tell you now what that is, what it has always been. I'm here. I'm with you in another dimension, always to remain in your memory while you are in the earthly dimension. But when you join me in this dimension, I can't describe, our hearts will once again be entwined, and this time forever. I just wanted to share that. Our thoughts are with you, Thomas.